So we're here at the WWATS Treasure Hunt. I got Wayne Nugget Brain Peterson here, who's going to show us how, you know, he's famous at gold prospecting and stuff like that. So he's going to show us some of his equipment, how to use some of this equipment. With that, Wayne, take it away.
All right. So the essentials you're going to need are very simple. You could make this up yourself like I did, and I'll show you what I got. In here, I carry a bag in my vehicle. Number one thing you're always going to need is a gold pan. Gold pans are great to have. A sniffer bottle. This gold pan is from 1983. I still have it. It's still usable. It's a Garrett. It's a good pan. This one here is a Keen pan. And believe it or not, I put everything in here. I have a sieve down in here, but I could keep everything in this bag like this. And you could pick these up at the store. All this is for a Dutch oven bag. It's very handy. You could throw it in your vehicle. You need a scoop. And there's a snuffer bottle. This is what you pick up your gold with. You use one of these. You got your scoop. It all fits in here. But also I carry a pair of insulated gloves. Because the water is cold, especially this time of year. Anywhere you are in Colorado, even Arizona, if there's water, it's going to be cold because of snow melt. Got several types of digging tools. This is just a cat's claw. Works really good for breaking bedrock. Use one of these with a sledgehammer. A screwdriver for cleaning out the cracks and crevices. This pick here has seen better days, but it works really good for cleaning out cracks and crevices, busting bedrock. A paintbrush. Everybody says, what do you need a paintbrush for? You're in a dry area. You're down in the desert in Arizona. You could take and you could sweep out the cracks with it. Very essential tool. A roll of tape. You don't know how many times you need to fix something real quick. A roll of tape, you know, throw it in here. You can tell this one's been around for quite a while, but I use it a lot. The other thing is a plastic coffee can, a mayonnaise plastic, anything plastic. Because when you get done panning, and we'll go through this procedure, you're just going to take and dump all your material in there. Don't waste your time going through this stuff, trying to collect it. Get all the gold now. Put it in here, go home. This is where you're going to keep your concentrates, in a container like this. Now, these are from roof vents in a bathroom. So I made up my own screens. Just take it and you could screen your material. You screen to the size of the gold. Here in Colorado, a 20-30 mesh is all you need, because if you see any big nuggets, you're going to see them laying in here. But I made up 2 of these. They work great. They fit on top of your gold pan. It fits just like this. You throw your material in there, shake it down, and then you got the material you could pan. It makes it a lot easier panning and a lot faster.
That is a great idea.
They go all different sizes. You'll see everything from 1/2 inch all the way down to 100 mesh. You could even get 500 mesh, but 50 mesh is about the lowest you need to go for panning. So those work great for that. And then buckets, 5-gallon buckets. Everybody's got them. They sell them all over the place. Biggest problem with a 5-gallon bucket is the handles break on them, okay? Here's a handle that's broken. Well, this is going to do you no good. It's going to hurt your hand. When you fill this bucket up about right here, you're going to have about 60, 70 pounds of material in there. It hurts your hand to carry it. A guy named Tim Crowley down in Arizona started a company called Snappy Grip. This is what a Snappy Grip looks like. He carries these in 10 different colors. It's a bucket replacement. What you do is you make this flat. You put this piece down here like this. They have interlocking tabs on here. You just take it, place it, press it, and now you have an ergonomic handle. Different colors. He's got them in orange, he's got them in blue, he's got them in white, green, pink, black. Another nice thing about it is Sometimes when we go out, we'll take several buckets. So we have our primary colors going through, and if we take a bunch of buckets, these are so neat because you could add two colors together. You could put a white and a blue, a white and an orange, a blue and an orange, any color you want. They interlock, so that's kind of marking your buckets, as we call it. Another thing I used to do, but I quit doing it, was I used to carry a piece of cardboard and a magic marker, and I'd write sample number 1 or northwest corner, and I put them in there, bring them home, and it'd take me months to process this stuff. By the time I got to them, I couldn't remember what it was. So I started using different color bucket handles, and I keep a log in my pocket with it, where I found it on a particular property. If I'm testing a property throughout, south corner, north corner, right side of the river, left side, you just color code your book with your bucket handles. That's your basic stuff right there. A bar of soap. Why would I have a bar of soap when I'm out prospecting? Well, your hands get pretty dirty when you're out there. Also, if you don't carry jet dry, which is drops the water, it takes the surface tension off the water, you could take a bar of soap. I carry it in a bag. You just take your bar of soap a few times in like this. Just kind of give it a little bit of soap in there. You don't want a lot. Cuts the surface tension. You could say your gold won't float. And if you got oily gold, you got oil in your pan, oil on your hands, you never know what's out there. Sometimes you'll see oil floating on the water. Your gold will float with that oil. So just a little bar of soap, and it's also good for cleanup. And then when you want to go home and smell pretty, you could smell pretty on your way home. So that's basically what I carry in my bag, which makes it a lot easier. And I always put my name on everything, on my gloves and that, because if this is floating down the river, somebody's going to see it. Hey, Nugget Brain, you lost one of your gloves. So I put my name on there, and ever since I put my name, I haven't lost a glove since, so it works. So that's what you need to start. Now, this piece of equipment I have sitting next to me is called a gold cube. It's made by Mike Pong over in Oklahoma. It's a real cool machine. He came out with them. This has got a classifier built on the top. It's got 1,100 gallons per hour pump on there. It's got a special kind of carpeting inside here that attracts the gold and holds the gold. So you could classify. If you're out dredging and you're out in wet material, the classifier works really good. If it's dry, then you hook up a garden hose on here. I don't have the garden hose attachment, but you could help wash it down. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off. We're not going to use that part. This is basically a vertical sluice box. You have sluice boxes that sit flat on the ground or on an angle in the water. This is a vertical model, which is really nice. If you look here, I have several examples. I have many sluice boxes, many gold pans. I got 87 gold pans in my gold pan collection. But this one here is a sluice box. It's an old one. It's a DZ golden gem. You set this down in the stream. For every foot you drop 1 inch. You don't sit it flat in the river. You sit it at an angle for every foot. So this one's going to have about a 4-inch drop because it's almost 4 foot long. That's for processing your material. The trick is the more material you can move in a day, the more gold you're going to find. It's not bigger the equipment, the bigger the gold. Don't let anybody fool you on that. But it's the equipment. The more material you can move, the more gold you're going to find. If you got a gold pan, you might go out and you might find, let's just exaggerate, an ounce of gold with a gold pan in a day. The 1800s they did that, back when the gold rushes were on. But today, you might find a 1/2 gram or a 1/4 gram with a gold pan. Now you switch over and you're using a sluice box. If you take 42 of these 5-gallon buckets filled about that far, about this rib to the top, 42 of them equal 1 yard. not many people could do 1 yard. I've been known to do 2-3 yards a day because I'm just crazy. That's why they call me Nugget Brain, right? So 42 of these through that there, you're going to do pretty good. 42 gold pans, that's not even a half a bucket when you consider, and I'll show you how we're going to do all that. Here's another one of the Easy Sluice by DZ. It's just a smaller version. They have a miner's moss in here, and this all pops out. It's just a smaller version. Is a backpack model. It only weighs maybe 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. Very easy to use. I'm also a Keen dealer. I'm not going to promote Keen today. I'm going to promote everybody. There's no such product that is better, but the best is always the Keen, of course. This one here was made by Angus McCurk. He was up in Idaho, I believe. And this is one of his. It's a vacuum formed. He vacuum formed these. They work really good. You don't get as much material because all the slide area, your gold's going to sit up in here. Your gold's always going to be at the top of every sluice box. This one here, it'll be to about this first set here, and anything else will be down at the bottom. On these sluice boxes here, the Keen and everybody else's, it's going to be in the first top third. That's where all the gold's going to be found. Anything down in the bottom is I call bonus, because you're not going to keep 99.9%. So this is just another example of a sluice box that's out there. And everybody's got a sluice box. Everybody thinks they have the ultimate sluice box, but they all do the same thing. It moves material. So with that, I got some panning tubs set up down here. So when we run our material, your first thing you want to use is a gold pan. You want to test an area. You want to see what's out there. Once you find out there's gold where you're at, then you start moving up. You go to a sluice box. You go to a vertical sluice box this way, a high banker combo unit. Or you go into big dredges and big equipment and everything like that. I've been on operations that we were moving 1,000 yards a day, 1,500 yards a day, which is a lot of material, and the huge sluice boxes and everything else. But you know, I started out small. I started out with a gold pan. I used the gold grabber, which is similar to this unit here. And you know, I found my first flake of gold, and I've been hooked ever since 1983 in August, and that's when my uncle got me involved, and I've been at it ever since. And there's no such thing as not having a good time. If I only find a few flakes, I'm happy. If I find large amounts, I'm even happier. So anyways, let me start up this machine here. It's very simple. What we have is they call it the 3-stack. There's 3 sets of riffle type deals in here. We'll show you when we get done. We got our wash up here. And all you do is hook it up to a battery. This is a little 12-volt battery. Should run quite a few hours on it. Very simple. The water comes down. We're going to put our material in here. It's going to wash down. I have no air bubbles sitting inside here. I look in here, and if I see any air bubbles, to get rid of those air bubbles, besides putting a little bit of soap in there or the Jet Dry surface tensioner, I just take and rub my hand on there like this. Clears out the air bubbles. I see there's no air bubbles in there.
What does the air bubbles do?
The gold will just float over it, and it won't stick into the matting. And when we show you the matting, what kind of matting, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Well, let's take a 5-gallon bucket, and we'll get out our scoop. What we're going to do is we're going to go right over here. Now this is an old playground that they had here up at the camp, and you know, people were worried about kids getting hurt on it, so they left the sand. I don't care if you go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, True Value, or anywhere, and you get sand from a sand pit, you're going to find gold. So we're going to show you how we do this. We're just going to take and scoop some sand in here like this. Now generally I'd fill up a bucket. I'd use a big shovel, but for demonstration purposes you'll get the gist of it. So what we'll do is we'll come over here. I try to use 2 5-gallon buckets. Saves me from having to bend over and everything. Just go like this. Just run the material. Don't get crazy with it. Kind of run it slow. They say you could do a ton an hour with this machine, but it's more fun just to take it a little bit slower and do it this way. So we're just going to run it like this. And generally what I like to do on this machine or any other machine that's similar to this is go for about an hour, hour and a half, and then take a break. Water's flowing really good through the machine. The material's coming out. My bigger stuff, if I had the screen on here, it would be coming off over here. Right now I'm running everything because it's all pretty fine. So my waste trap is down here, so I just let it dump. And just go like this. Okay, I'll grab another bucket here somewhere else. Okay, you people didn't see it, but what actually happened, I'm on my 50th bucket right now, okay? So anyways, you just run the material, take it kind of slow, let it run down. Keep an eye on your water and your pump. If that water slows down, you check your pump, make sure there's no dirt getting in it. Very simple procedure. I'll go back here because it's starting to build up. I'll move my sand out of the way so it doesn't start building up on me. My pump is still in a clear zone, so it's not sucking up rocks or sandal or anything else. There is a lot of organics in here. We call organic sticks and leaves and all that. So you got to watch your organics. You can see right here, there's the organics. Now if you're in the desert in Arizona, California, Nevada, by the time I ran these 2 buckets, you would have handfuls of it, of all the dried organics in there. So you just got to watch what you're doing. You just run it like this. Hopefully this doesn't make a liar out of me and doesn't show me any gold, but we did quite a few test pans and we did find some gold. So anyways, we're out here at the WWATS Rally in Mancos, Colorado. Today is gold prospecting day. We did want to get to the river, but with the snow melts and everything else, it's just unsafe to get in the water. And we can't even get near the water because the river's rushing so bad down here. And all of them are that way. So we're going to run some big equipment today, some dredges and all that. But it's safer to do it here, and we can do this. I'm going to go a little bit quicker just to save time. This machine is pretty good. I mean, it's not really a moving machine. There's no moving parts. The only moving parts you have is the water. And the water's your best friend in any kind of mining. Dry washing is really good, but you're going to end up using water later on to process your material, but you're going to lose gold. This is probably your best way to do it because the water wets the gold and wets all the dirt and cleans off all the clays and residues. And so let's just pretend like we finished up this bucket. There's only about 6 more scoops left. So we're going to let this machine run a little bit. Going to let it run, let it flush itself on down. Now you got 3 trays in here. They call it a 4-stack because without this wash unit you could use the next unit down, but since I got the wash rack and the spray bar on here, it's a good spray bar. So what we're going to do is we're just going to let this flush itself out. Now inside this here, we'll show you when we take it apart, there's like a carpet in there. It's not like it's not a miner's moss. They're little square holes that stick up and the gold falls down inside there, which is a good thing. It retains all the gold and does really good retaining the gold. I'm not really seeing anything heavy come out here at the bottom, just the lighter stuff. So we'll give it a, you know, maybe a half a minute more. It's pretty clean coming out. It's not like it was before when we were dumping all the material in. You can see the water gets dirty, but the water's okay. It's not, if it was clay, it'd be gooping up. The holes would be plugging up. There is no clays in here in this sand. So that's a good thing. The water gets dirty, but you know, dirty water is not going to kill you. Let that set overnight. You could drink off the top if you wanted to go and do something like that. So, but I think that's run long enough to flush it down. So what I'll do is I'm going to disconnect the battery. Get this out of the sun. Now this is our cleanup process. Very simple with this machine. The top unit just got a slide area. It has nothing on it. We're not even going to worry about this piece right here. So we'll set that off here. Now this one is the next unit down. We're going to take a 5-gallon bucket because we don't want to lose anything. As you can see, here, let me dump out this water here. This is a Z design. When the water comes down, it falls into this pocket here. It comes up and it washes up, it goes over this, goes down and hits another Z over on this side. And it just Z's it all the way like this. It just loops it through. You can tell by the design here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this over here. We're going to get the little Z here because this is where some of your gold's going to be sitting. We're going to do this, I'm going to do this one separately so you can see how this works. I'm hoping there's gold in here. So there's that. Now, let me grab one of these. This is just a tub you could pick up at any hardware store. Concrete section usually has them. They use them for mixing concrete and stuff like that. So we're going to stick this in here like this. And we're just going to take our water and clean it out. Get a good cleaning. Now you can use a nylon brush. Don't use a metal brush. Use a nylon brush to help clean it out. But what I found works the best on these is at the end of the day, you let it sit in the sun, dry real good. Get you a dry tub, tap it a couple times, and all your dirt and everything will fall out. So, And then I always look in here to see if I see any microscopic gold or any little gold flakes. I don't see anything. Now, on the gold cube, generally your first tray on top is the one that's going to catch all the gold. Your bottom tray, if you find any gold, it's because you're not level or anything else. So we're going to clean out the second tray. We'll put it in here. I don't think there's going to be anything in here. All my gold should have stayed in here because of the design of this. And let's get a close look at what I was talking about. They're like little squares. You can notice there are little squares in there. And the gold will just stick in there, and it's ribbed in such a way that the gold gets stuck in between them. That's why you want to check this real good. Let it dry in the sun, and then dump it out a few times. So we just set that off to the side. We know it's cleaned. And we'll take this one. Same thing, I'll dump off the water. This stuff here, and the little, you can see all the organics in here. Doesn't hurt anything, but clean out as much as you can. And then do the same thing here. Wash her on down. You've seen these on TV shows. Mike's been around the country. He's been to Nome, Alaska. He's been on a lot of shows with these. It's an awesome machine. He hasn't changed the design, and I probably had this one for 8-9 years. And the funny thing is, when I first saw this machine, I like to see branding on stuff. So I met Mike Pung, and he brought it out, and I said, Mike, you got these boxes here. It looks great. You got to put your name on there so people know who you are. So he went back. I don't know if he silk screened these or not, but he made these. And the next time I seen him, he gave me a set. He goes, there's your idea, right? I said, exactly. Well, he's changed this a little bit, but I got the first set of the Gold Cube logos on my box. So I'm pretty proud of a little input on somebody's equipment. But I do a lot of equipment and check a lot of equipment for people, a lot of suggestions. They generally listen to me, so, but I've been doing it too many years, I guess. Okay, so again, I'm gonna look along the edges. I'm gonna look her up at the top because there's a little space in there. I don't see anything, and I don't see any little gold in there. Gold is gonna shine like you wouldn't believe when you see it on this black. So here's my concentrates. And then I got these. I'm gonna grab a gold pan. Let me use my trusty Garrett here. I just love this pan. This is what I started with. And you can tell it's seen better days. But you know what? Another good thing about a gold pan is you're out there and let's say you want to have hot beans for dinner. Well, you just clean out your pan, you throw your beans in there, you eat your dinner, you don't have to bring a plate. And then you wash it out, and the next day you go panning again. So I got pictures. I'll have to get some pictures for you. We were out camping and we decided to have spaghetti one night. I'm in my big camper. I don't have anything to, drain spaghetti with. So we took a 30 mesh sieve, poured our spaghetti in there, drained the noodles, and then the next day we were using our sieve again. So very essential tools. The old timers used to use metal ones. They used to cook in them and everything else. So we're no different at this day and age. So I'm going to take this and go down here by the pan. I'll go to the fresh water. Now I don't have very much material in here because this is just out of those dips. Little organics, doesn't hurt anything. I'm gonna shake it down really good. This bigger stuff, I'm gonna look at it, and I already know it's not gold nuggets. Just gonna give it a quick look. No gold. My dog thinks there is, but I'm just going to pan this down real quick. And you know, I see people pan with a gold pan in there like this. They're playing with it. I say get violent with it. The gold's going to go to the bottom of the pan. It's going to sit right along this edge down here. Get violent with it. You're not going to lose it. And that's how fast you could pan down. I mean, it's real simple. So what I'm going to do now, I'll turn it so you can see on the camera. Hopefully something will show. If you could see, I got some black sand up in here. I don't see anything sizable. I see a few little specks in here, which people goes, oh, you're going to waste your time getting specks. But you know what? Specks add up. When these big mining companies are out there running these big machines, they'll get more smaller stuff. It adds up quicker than the big stuff that everybody talks about getting. So there's only a few little specks in here. Okay, so I'm going to leave this material because I don't want to dump it. I know there's gold in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here. Let me grab that other bucket, that pan. Let me show you how much is in here. If you take and you shake it and you get it down into a corner, you could safely pour off the water. And you can see there's a material I'm going to pan. There's a lot of black sand in here, which is a real good sign. When you find black sand, 90% of the time you're going to find some gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick my pan in. I'm just going to hit it with water, wash it all down to the corner, and slowly tip it. A few scoops and your pan is clean. Like I say, these are really inexpensive. They're under, this size here is usually under $10. They have bigger ones, you go 15, 20. Good for panning in. And if you're not a real and experienced panner, take and run through the material again just to make sure. It just takes practice. When you get to the point where you could shake it down like I do in a few seconds, you don't have to recheck your material. But if you're starting out, it's the best way to start out. So I'm going to take my material, I'm going to shake it up real good. I know my gold's already at the bottom of this pan. The blonde sand's on top here. I'm going to wash those off. There's no gold going to stick in that blonde sand. The gold is 19.2, lead is 12.3 I think, and the weight scale, water being 0. So the gold is the heaviest material that's in this area. Platinum's the only next heavier thing, and I think it's 20.3, 20.4, something like that. So if there's any platinum, it's going to be with the gold. So I'm not afraid of losing anything. I know the first time I did a gold pan took me about an hour and a half, and I only had about a half a pan. After that, I had a man named George Massey. He was the owner of a big company, a big prospecting club. He taught me how to do it. He says, man, it shouldn't take you more than a minute and a half to go through that pan. He showed me how to do it, and I've been doing it ever since. So he said, like you said, get violent with it. So I'm getting violent. You can see the black sand in there. I got almost all my blonde sands are gone. I got just mainly black sand and a few little pebbles. I'm not going to worry about the pebbles because I know they'll come off. You can see the black sand is just thick in this, which is a good sign. A little bit of, I'll show you the blonde sand. See the blonde sands in there? A few more shakes on that, they'll be gone. The lighter black sand is disappearing. Now anybody that grew up in the 60s and 70s watched these deals go to the moon and everything. They actually collected black sand for the launch pads. They had a big operation down in Arizona, and they were collecting the black sand and shipping it down on trains to NASA down there in Florida, and they were building the pads for the rockets to go up. So when the heat came down, it didn't burn through, but it melted it. So they crusted it off, and then they just kept putting new layers on top. But they did that in Arizona for years, collecting the black sands. But the people that were collecting the black sands were also processing it and taking out the gold. That was their profit. They were making money from NASA, and then they were collecting the gold. So it was down by Wickenburg, Arizona, they were doing that. So they had the big train system down there. But I'm almost through this. You give it a couple more quick wash offs. I kind of use my riffles to keep it from falling over. Sometimes I'll just use a flat side, but I usually finish up with my flat side. So now, get all this down into the corner. As you can see, I got about a teaspoon and a half of material left. Heavy black sands, I like that. I'll do this so you could see it. We'll see if anything appears. We'll just roll it around real gently. Okay, now I'm going to wobble it. And what I'm trying to do is, there's a piece right there. What I'm trying to do right now is get the lighter black sands that flaked off. There's a little bit of blondes in there. So I'm just going to I'm going to keep my angle here because I still got the groove back here in case a little piece slipped through like that one I just caught. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring it all back. I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to take and swirl it. You could tell I've done this a few times demonstrating. I could do it upside down. I'm just going to swirl it. Bring my lighter stuff down. There's a nice little piece there. Push that one back. Okay, I'm just going to take and wash it down real so lightly because I see fine gold in there, and I see the fine gold up in here, and I just don't want to catch it. Do the same thing. Bring it down pretty far and then stop. This is the process that takes the longest, is when you get to the black sands, because the black sands are so heavy and your gold gets stuck in there. And when you do that, if you wash it out too fast, it'll blow through with your stuff. So you just want to take your time and just swirl it. Okay, I didn't see anything slide down on that one, so I'm just going to get rid of all that now. Now I'm going to... There's quite a few colors in there for being a sandbox, trampled on for years. Here. Can you see that piece right there?
Yep.
Okay, so you got that one there. And I think I saw another little peeker in there. Can you hand me my sniffer bottle, please? Here's another one right there. A little bit smaller. It's a little bit smaller piece, but it's gold. Gold adds up. Thank you. Gold adds up. There's that piece right there. So let me demonstrate how you use a sniffer bottle. What this is it's a bottle with a hose in there, and it runs through. And it's locked in there because there's a stopper that holds it. So what you do is you put it like this, you squeeze this bottle down, you put water in here, or you squeeze it down and you stick it down in the water, and you go over that little piece of gold that you found, and you just suck it up in the bottle. Now it's stuck in there because that tube goes all the way down, the gold can't get out. So then, see if I can find that other little speck that was in there. I mean, we only ran maybe 3/4 of a bucket. So it's a pretty good showing. I mean, it's not as good as I'd like to see. I'd like to see a pound sitting in this pan, but we know that's not going to happen. There it is right there. So I'm going to take and move it with my little finger here. It's going to be some black sand around it, but that's okay because I'm going to pan it out again and again. I'm just going to suck her right up in there and she's gone. I'm going to check. There's some little micron gold in here. Let's see if I could pull that out of there. That little piece right there. Could hardly see it. It's what we call hardly gold. Can hardly see it. So I'm just going to grab that one. Now what's good about it is I have probably 40 of these all over the place in my house. People come over and goes, "Oh, there's a sniffer bottle there." I said, "Yeah. Let's see if there's any gold in there." And sure enough, "Where'd you get it from?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know where I got that one. I used to put numbers on here, but just like my bucket markings." Okay, I don't see anything else in here that's significant. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to teach you how to get this into your vial. Do you have that vial with you? You're going to open your bottle up like this. No, I need the vial. Oh. This is another type of sniffer. They're okay, but you got to immediately put it in your bottle. So what I do is I just use one of these. You're going to open up the cap on your bottle like this. I float it. It's not going to go anywhere. I fill it up with water. Then I take my sniffer bottle, I look up here, I got nothing stuck up in there. And I always do it over a gold pan. I've seen so many people miss and drop a vial or anything, so always do it over a gold pan with gold in it or water in it. Gold would be really nice too. You take this piece out, your straw, you set it off to the side, you put it back onto your bottle, and I twirl it really good because I know there's stuff in the bottle, there's sand and everything in here, the black sand. So I'm going to twirl it. I'm going to put my bottle up like this. I'm going to shake. Now I'm going to bring it up just a little bit over my gold pan, squeeze it, shake it again. Now I know there's nothing left in this bottle because all that stuff is in here. You can see there's quite a bit of black sand in there. So I'm going to put this back together because if you lose this straw and you're out in the middle of the field, you don't carry spares. Stick it back in just like this. We're done with this. Now, since there's black sand in here and everything, you could do this process one more time. Just wash it all out in the bottom of the pan. Rinse off my water and I could show you. Use this as a pointer. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little specks of gold.
Point them out again.
The biggest one is right here. Then we have another bit, half the size here, half the size here, and then these 3 littler ones right here. And that's all I see. So what you do is you start the process again. Put a little water in your pan. Slowly move it. It'll get the black sand. The gold is heavy, so it's going to want to sit in that spot. Just move the pan. Now this is what I was talking about, the gold floating. This big piece here is floating on top of the water.
Oh, wow.
So, well, I'm going to catch that while it's floating in the air. Got it. Now, I'm going to go back to where my other little pieces are. There's another one that wants to float off. That's why you use soap in there, just a little bit of soap. Dawn works great, but only 1 or 2 drops, otherwise you're going to have a bubble bath going on. So what I'm going to do is I got my pieces here. I'm just going to suck them up away from the black sand, because the black sand's pretty much out of the way. And this one here. And then I always squeeze the bottle in fresh and make sure that nothing got stuck in the tube. Now I have no gold left in this pan, completely clean. So what do? I wash this out. And do the same thing. This is my final. My water. I'm going to fill up my little vial. Now this is a ½ ounce vial. They have 1 ounce. You could get all the way up to 20-ounce vials. I do not recommend using glass vials. Use the plastic ones, because if you drop it or you forget it in your vehicle and it's winter time, they burst and break. Trust me, experience has taught me this lesson. Get the plastic ones. Another thing that I suggest to people is don't put water in them when you get done cleaning your gold. It makes it look bigger. It's great to look bigger, but it's going to be the same size no matter what. So I always dry my gold, leave it in a gold pan, let it dry out, and then get a little funnel or something like that and put it in the bottle dry. It's the best way. So my gold is in there. We remove the hose. We shake and swirl this. I guess they call that a vortex. Put it on there. Shake it around real good. Make sure it's real clean. Over your gold pan, of course. Squeeze your vial or your bottle. Let it flush it all down in there. Over my pan, I'm going to put my lid on. And there's our gold. There's a little black sand in there, but you can see the gold in there. There's still a couple pieces of black sand, but this is what I call TV time. You put it in a pan and you sit there with a nice bright light and you TV time it and you get just the gold and get rid of all the black sand.
Cool.
So that's my demonstration on panning for gold from A to Z that I could do the best. I mean, I'm sure there's better people out there that are doing this, but you know what? I think simple, and I try to be simple and keep everything simple. So you could watch this video 100 times and you might get something new out of it every time, but we do want you to share all these videos that you see on Terry's YouTube page, because he's got some of the best ones. Go back a couple years and try and get caught up. I've been trying to do that. It doesn't work really quick, but Terry's got some awesome videos, and we want to thank him for coming to the Mancus hunt again this year. And thanks, Terry, and here, you could have the gold.
Awesome. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.